start of midweek action. You had a few days to get away, recharge, put last week in the past, and now get ready for Toledo. Walk us through last game and now the switch to midweek.
Yeah, so losing to Western Michigan seems like a long time ago, just because we've had an extra few days and have been recruiting, and our guys have had some time off from football, which has been really good and healthy. Looking forward to seeing them again this afternoon. We got outplayed by Western Michigan. You know, very, very, very few times that I can remember in 10 years that feels though after a game that team played with maybe a little bit more will and determination, and say will, coached, played, all of it, and felt that way, which was a really sort of sickening feeling. But nonetheless, that's how I felt. And, we turned the ball over, and they didn't. Thought special teams was even, and so it was not a good day for us.
Dave, you want to open us up with questions?
Yeah, can you talk about the challenge you had against Toledo, obviously the MAC champs? What are you going to do against a guy like DeQuan Finn and a solid running back like Penny Boone, too?
Yeah, so, Toledo is the best team in our league. They won the league last year. They were picked to win the league this year, and they've done, nothing after 8 or 9 games to make anybody think otherwise. So they're having a really strong season. It does start, with their quarterback. He's their leader and super dangerous. We didn't see him last year. He was injured. So, we're going to have to figure out a way to contain him. He can hurt you. He's got an unbelievable arm, and he's got unbelievable feet, and he's got just an unbelievable presence about him. You can just tell that, he's a leader and a winner. And so that's the first order of business. But they always are strong up front, and they always have the best or the top skill guys in the league. And just even talking about offensively first. So there'll be a really, really tough matchup. And then defensively, I think that they won last year's game versus us. Defensively, we really, struggled to score the way that we were there towards the end of the year, and starts up front for them again. I mean, they've got some really good players. They're really well coached. Their secondary, it starts for them up front, but their secondary we think is probably their strongest group on their defense, and they've got momentum. They're playing really well. So it's good. We're going to get together today, as a team for the first time in a couple days, and the challenges will be crystal clear and obvious to us about what we need to do to be victorious. Next Wednesday night. It's going to take a heck of an effort. I can't wait for it. Really believe that this football team is going to finish strong, and it's just been a good time for us to regroup and get ready to go.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Coach, I don't know if you had a chance to watch Toledo on TV when they played Buffalo, but when you get those type of opportunities, are you able to really take anything different than just breaking down film when you watch a broadcast of a game?
I did get to see some. Don't remember where I was. I think in Kansas. Theirs was Tuesday night?
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's different, than watching cut-ups. And I usually watch the previous game in its entirety to start, my week on a team. But it's not the TV broadcast, that I listen to or watch. So, yeah, it's different. But, yeah, there's things you can get from it.
Joseph Horacio has had an absolutely unbelievable season. He set the record for tackles in a game in the FBS this year. I don't know what else you can say about this guy, but it's just been unbelievable the way he's played in that linebacker position. Is he one of the best in your 10 years to play at that position?
Oh yeah. Joe's, he's made of all the right stuff. I mean, I can't tell you like how much he loves football, and he's just a great fit here at Eastern Michigan, and he knows it. That's on and off the field. That's 24/7 and 365 days a year. When he, after whatever play 2 or whatever it was at Northern Illinois 3 and couldn't finish that game. I mean, because of his character, he was rather quickly able to just focus all of his energy on the team and all that. But it breaks his heart, and so he is doing and giving absolutely everything he has and believes deeply. Love him.
It's our first chance to talk to you this week. Final question for me. You had a chance to sit and talk with Max Crosby before he played against the Lions, and of course, him and his wife have made a very generous donation to Eastern Michigan University. Can you just talk briefly what it was like to see Max and what that donation is going to mean to Eastern Michigan football?
It was great to see him. For those who don't know, he was raised in Michigan before he moved back down to Dallas. And so when they talk about a homecoming and whatnot, I mean, it's Eastern Michigan, but it's also, where he was raised. And I think the other thing that gets lost or got lost in it all is that he's 26 years old. I mean, he's given this unbelievable gift back, to his school and his football program. He's active. He's still at the beginning of his career. He's 26 years old, and he's done that. I mean, it's just, and I don't know. I mean, I probably sound like a fool, but honestly, it's like not the amount as much for me as the fact that he and Rachel, want to do that. That's what touches me deeply. They're just great people. I'm so proud of him. I mean, just the way he, conducts himself. Even when you were interviewing him, Greg, it wasn't like I'm going to ask you these questions. He's asking him these questions, and he's just so poised and confident and so well spoken. When he spoke to the team, I mean, you could hear a pin drop, and that includes me and every coach. I told him when we were, saw him before the Lions game, I'm referencing you, and I'm laughing, telling him that, but I'm they're not listening to me. But if I say, remember what Max said, you know what I mean? And it's so it's awesome. I mean, to have his name, on the field and all that we're able to do because of it, taking the track out and getting track is going to rightfully get their own venue, and to be able to green turf all that, to highlight, brand new parking lot gray turf, Crosby Field. I mean, it's a huge deal, man, and just so thankful.
Thank you, Coach.
Just to piggyback off of the Max Crosby conversation, what kind of pride do you take in that? Because not only is he doing a lot of this on his own accord, he really wants to give back to his community, but you're also the coach that recruited him here. What sort of pride do you take in him being able to live out the legacy he wants to live behind?
Yeah, and I don't want to ever leave out Coach Brad McCaslin, because he really led the recruiting, and Max mentions him a lot, and it doesn't always come out with what's written or what's said. And so, I want to give credit where credit's due, because Brad McCaslin did a phenomenal job in so many ways, and one of those was recruiting, the most high-profile guy that we've had in these 10 years. And so I forget what your question was about that.
What sort of pride do you take in that, knowing that you were the coach that led him to get here?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm so proud of him, but I can't tell you that I take pride in the fact that we found him and brought him here and coached him and developed him and whatnot. it's awkward thinking about it that way, right? We didn't know that he was going to end up being a great player. Every single guy that we recruit, we think has the capacity of being a great player, and it doesn't happen. So it wasn't like, I don't know that we can or would want to take any credit. It always starts on the inside out. He's had this burning desire and this belief in himself, and it's been a gradual process of, learning how to become, what he is right now. I mean, the Raiders and his time there, and, the decision that he made, about being sober and just, man, going public with all that. I mean, the ways that he's grown up has just been phenomenal. And so I am like 1,000% proud of him. Like, you know what I mean? But the pride sort of as the coach, there's not pride in that, we did that, it's just, and then, like we had 3 guys just surprise me at the game, Darian Terrell and Dustin Creel and Brogan Roback, and 2 of those guys hadn't seen the building, and, it's like, it's weird. It's more public with Max, and, it's football, but like Darian Terrell is just running his own business and his company and just absolutely killing it. You know what I mean? Dustin Creel and Brogan Roback. I mean, all those guys. I mean, Tyrese Russell is leading the police escort, from our team hotel when we come to the games. I mean, so, it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm so proud of so many guys. And obviously Max has become like, just a public superstar. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does, yeah, perfect. On the football scene for you guys, Austin, obviously he's going through some injury pains right now. I don't want to ask about his status, but just knowing the way that he played through, the game that he's coming off of, like I said before, I thought he did a really good job of playing the ball deep. Was that like an encouraging sign?
Heck yeah. Yeah, heck yeah. So look, he played, he got injured early in the NIU game. His adrenaline and all that kind of stuff, got him through that. And then didn't practice much, for Western Michigan at all. But he, sort of all along was like, hey, I'm going to be ready to play. I'm going to be ready to play. Then, Ike got injured. He got poked in the eye in a way where doctors didn't clear him. So yeah, he came in and thought he did a really nice job.
Daquan White, we talked about him a lot earlier in the year when he was first getting into the scene, but he's staying on the field, he's staying productive, he's leading your team in pass breakups. How impressive is it for him to, not only come into the season with the level of maturity that you trusted, but for him to keep continuing on and keep performing?
Yeah, it's just from doing this throughout all the years, so many freshmen, there's a point in their freshman year where everything just catches up. You're trying to stay on pace with learning, and the game plans, and just, some guys are on scout team, and so it's like, they just fall behind. But, for so many guys, there's just a time where they just kind of can't keep up anymore, and that sure hasn't happened, with Daquan. I don't see it happening. He is so level-headed, so well-prepared, coming from Creekside High School down in Georgia. I mean, it's big-time football there, really well coached, just an awesome program. And he's got that inner confidence and humility, the ability to learn. And so it's like we're not surprised, but then you're always surprised because, like I said, you recruit everyone and just super excited about them and what their capability is. But it's almost impossible to know, who is going to be able to be coachable, right? Who's going to learn quickly and who's going to be able to really, play at a high level. And he sure is that guy this year.
Heading into this week for Toledo, it seems like a game where you guys have to win the field position battle, and that's just not an aspect where you guys have won a lot of your battles. What's it going to take for you guys to really just take back the field position and really, start with the ball, in good field position?
Well, that starts with special teams, right? You got to eliminate turnovers, right? And then, our special teams, our punt return, punt block has been better than our kickoff and our kickoff return over the course of the year. But there's not too many games where we've lost the special teams battle. But you're right. We don't want to give anybody a short field, and we'll take a short field anytime we can get it. But starts with the two things I talk about all the time. We can't give them the football, and our special teams units are going to have to play at a high level, no question.
And my last, just thinking of like everything that happened last week and trying to, you got to win this week. Like you have to win this Toledo week. What's going to have to be the biggest change from Western week to Toledo week?
Well, I think I talked about it earlier, and again, this is something I take full responsibility for. Coming off of the NIU loss, because we put everything we had into that. It was a really good game. They made a couple more plays than we did, and we lost the game. And we prepared well for Western Michigan. Okay, it's not you win and everything's good, and you lose and everything's bad. We prepared well, other than the fact, and this is again my job and my failure from, one day, the Sunday afterwards. That is when you set the tone, for the emotional build of the week. And our guys always play hard, okay? So I'm not, and coaches coach hard. But there's a difference, when you just know that it's a big game and that your will and the determination and all of that is building throughout the week as well. And, we lost that battle to Western Michigan, okay? So, for us to be successful against Toledo, we are going to have that in spades, and then execute at a high level, for 3 hours and 15 minutes on Wednesday night.
Coach, our student athlete today, Jaylon Jackson, we've seen him certainly in the running game, the kick return game, but he had a breakout game as kind of a receiving aspect. Thoughts on him before we bring him up here?
He can do it all. You just said it, yeah. He has been an awesome player and person, this season, and everybody saw it last year, how dynamic he is and explosive. What you may not know about Jaylon, I'm so glad that you chose him, that you get to know him better today. His attitude and his effort match his explosiveness. He's always got a smile. He's always got just pep in his step. He loves football. He loves being out there. He's a team guy, and he's so hard, to defend. And the other thing that, if you think about it, you can figure it out, but he is so tough. He's just so tough, and that the mental and the emotional, but and physically, that was one of the questions that we had about him, in the recruiting process, was, man, how is he going to hold up, and how durable and how tough, and we watched, game tape of him, getting knocked down and just popping up time and time and time again, and that's what he's done here. He's got a smile on his face, but he is a tough hombre, man, and he's having a great year.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Yep.
Stage is yours.
Go get him. You'll be great, man.
Alex, start over to you.
All right. I gotta lower the camera a little bit.
There you go. All right, Tom, would you like to kick us off?
Jaylon, if you could take me through that touchdown reception, you got open down the seam down there and busted out the open field. How did that feel, and kind of your take on the play?
Well, we caught it because we knew he was going to get man coverage. The linebacker versus me, and I was just able to give him a little shake. And when I seen the ball in there, I was just like, I got to catch it and score it. So that's about it.
Can you talk about this offense and the struggles they've had yardage-wise? It seems like it's been a point of contention the entire season that you guys haven't really had a huge breakout game yardage-wise. Is that something you guys feel can still happen for you down the stretch here?
Yeah, definitely. So, like, after the games, when we watch the film and stuff, It usually come down to, little small mistakes during the play for that play not to be successful. So I think we just got to do a better job of just focusing on the little details, on just that play. So.
Did you watch the Toledo game the other night?
Yeah, I got a chance to catch a little bit of it.
What was your take on Toledo?
Man, if they're a good team on all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. But defensively, we just got to do a good job of, it starts up front with them and just getting open downfield because we know we're going to see man coverage.
Coach talked a little bit about the week leading up to Western Michigan. What was your feeling going into that game, and how do you think this week will be different?
Going into that game that week, I feel like we prepared, the best that we could. I think we had a great week. And, when the game came, I think we just didn't make enough plays, to win that game. So for this week, I challenge us, just to make sure Western don't beat us twice, Make sure that they won last week just to make sure that game don't carry over this week. And it starts today with practice, so make sure we got energy when we come out.
Final question for me, as you talk to some of your teammates, what's the general mood of the team? Obviously, the season hasn't gone the way you hoped. You could still go to a bowl game, but you guys are really going to have to hammer it down the stretch. What's the feeling between you and the team about these final 3 games?
Of course, we're not, where we want to be right now, but we still got a lot to play for. So we just got to finish strong, to make a bowl game and go on to win that one. So.
Thank you.
Jaylon, last year you were on the team that, you guys played Toledo at home, lost to them, and then, everything transpired the way that it did. How much does knowing, going through last year's experience motivate you for this year?
Well, during that game last year with Toledo, we were winning most of the game, and we kind of let one slip away at the end. So I think knowing that, how that game went last year, is kind of going to give us some, some, how would I say it, some hope, basically. So this week that it should carry over, so we're just ready to play.
And I think you did a good job saying that you don't want Western to beat you guys twice. What has to change for you guys to, have a good day on offense next week?
Like I said, it's just going to come down to making sure that we take care of the small details on the play, just taking one play at a time and not worrying about the next one. So that's about it.
And obviously everybody knows that you can catch. Everybody knows that you can run really, really, really fast. And nobody's surprised that they saw that almost 70-yard touchdown out of you. What Coach said earlier is that it's a lot of, because you stay ready. You stay ready, you stay mentally focused, stay sharp. How much do you attribute that stay readiness to the production that you've had so far the past couple years?
Man, I'm just all about winning. So I'll do anything to help the team win. So if that comes with just being ready whenever they need me, whenever my number's called. So that's just how I approach it.
And my last 3 things people have not seen you do so far. Number 1, no one's seen you throw a pass. We haven't seen you punt, and we haven't seen you kick an extra point. If you had to rank, what you feel most confident in doing, what do you think your best 3 that we haven't seen you do yet?
I'm going to go with throwing the ball.
Okay.
I played a little quarterback in high school, the back half of my senior year. People might not know that, but I can throw a little bit.
And then what about punting, kicking an extra point? Which one do you
I'm going to go with punting second. I tried the extra point a couple times in the summer. I'm going to go with punting second. So.
Fair enough, thank you.
Why did you try a couple extra points during the summer?
I caught the kickers out there one day, and I was just trying to, kick a couple field goals and try it out. It didn't go so good. So.
Does it give you a little more respect for what Jesus has to go through?
Definitely,
when he's out there
yes,
kicking field
definitely,
goals?
yeah. I definitely can't do what they do. So.
Did you run any track in high school?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
no.
What events were your events at?
100 meter, the 4x1, and the 4x2 relay.
100 meter, what was your time?
I ran the 10.3 my senior year.
And speed-wise now, where are you, is that grown over your college career? I mean, are you faster now than you were in high school?
Definitely. I think the older I get, I feel like the faster I'm getting. I think it's coming with the stronger I get. So I feel a lot faster,
This is not a knock, but you're not a big guy, but you've been very durable. What do you attest to being able to stay durable and go against those big bodies in the trenches?
It's what you do when you're not on the field. So staying in the training room, working with the strength staff, just to make sure I'm flexible, I'm the strongest I can be, and most of it's mental too. So.